Good evening, and welcome to Rock Solid Radio. I'm Linda Hutchinson, the Executive Director of Rock Solid Families.
And I'm Merrill Hutchinson, President of Rock Solid Families. And we are excited to have you join us for the next 30 minutes as we talk about relationships. A huge shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. We are so thankful for these businesses who have made this show possible. So whether you are listening live or online, Rock Solid Radio, helping to strengthen our community, one family at a time on your hometown radio, Eagle Country 99.3. Good evening, Eagle Country. Welcome to Rock Solid Radio. This is Merrill Hutchinson and Linda Hutchinson. Hello, Linda. How are you, babe?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. I mean, I hope everybody's out there enjoying their long weekend.
Yeah.
Into our Labor Day weekend.
Speaking of which, isn't that our topic tonight? Work?
Oh.
Labor?
Well, you had to ruin it, didn't you? We have to talk about work?
We are going to have to go back to that after this weekend.
Okay, yeah. So, this is, I hope you are having a great weekend and choose. All of a sudden, Labor Day's tough for me.
It's almost puts you into depression, doesn't it?
I know. Cold weather's going to be coming. I know.
Oh.
So Mackenzie, our daughter, was driving down the street with me the other day and said, "Look, the leaves are already starting to change." I almost smacked her. I was like, "Don't even do that. Don't do that. I'm not ready for that."
I love fall. It's my favorite.
I love fall, but I know what follows.
I actually bought I didn't tell you this yet. I actually bought a
You all heard this. This is on TV, radio,
I went to
everywhere.
Bath & Body the other day, and I bought a fall candle. I can't wait to burn it.
I'm guessing some kind of apple pumpkin spice or something.
Oh my gosh.
How would I know that?
And I bought some soap too. I'm so excited.
Now I have to shower.
It was all about fall there. Cool.
Well, before we get into talking about this labor, we need to thank our sponsors. Thanks to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. We want to thank you guys for getting behind us and helping us out here at Rock Solid Radio. It is just such a great opportunity for Linda and I to come together and have some fun, but hopefully getting what we believe are worthy messages and working through the Word of God and trying to bring that out through our families and our community to revitalize, to build, to put that foundation. So we want to thank our sponsors for doing this. It really is, it's just, without it, we'd be lost. So thank you much.
And I want to thank all of our partners out there. We actually have a page on our website I would love for you to go to just to see the families and the businesses that have said, we believe and want to invest in healthy and strong families. And in our community especially. And so we're very thankful for the partners that have come alongside us to help our clients with some of them, help underwrite some of their costs to support the programming that we're doing, including your Strong Dads podcast that right now is without a sponsor. And so we are doing that at our expense. And so we're excited that we just have the opportunity to speak to dads, you and Kyle. And so there's just so many things going on. We pray for daily our partners, our clients, those listeners out there. If you're listening, please know we're praying for you. And we're praying that this information that we talk about on a weekly basis just touches your heart and helps your family. And if you like something that you're hearing or it's helped you, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know that you're listening and that it's making a difference in your family, because that's, we believe, our calling that God has given us to really reach out, and we are just two broken people.
Yeah. Well, you a little bit more than me, right? I said that to Kyle once in Strong Dads, and he almost punched me.
Aw. But I feel like we have learned a lot, but we still are learning a lot.
I think, hon, the biggest part of our work, and we see this more and more every day that we work with people, we definitely want to help families today. But we really are looking more at the generations to come. And only because,
kids,
like we've said in so many teachings and programs, we're 3 generations that we know of, right? 3 generations deep. And families being kind of blown apart. The foundation of the family unit being kind of altered and changed and weakened. And now we're seeing so much of the fruit of that, that you and I now say, you know what, we want to help the family today, but mostly, and this is why we talk about the Word of God. I mean, I can give you some advice on how to shore up your family today, but really, we're not talking about just today. We are talking about the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And that's why this is so difficult, difficult because we all want that instant gratification.
Yep.
The change comes now. And
I
really,
deserve to be happy.
Yeah, I need to be happy. This is tough. I don't like this. But the idea here is I want my grandkids and the generations to follow to really have a feeling and a root that is grounded in something strong. And that's why the Word of God is so important.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about it. Not everybody has the Christian faith. And you and I have wavered even in ours growing up and trying to figure it out and kind of went our own way. But you start to find out that if we tap in to the Word of God and we see generationally how things play out, it has so much more value.
Sure. And you know, hon, we wavered in our faith because it wasn't rock solid strong and we had storms in our life, right? And so we had to decide, like, okay, are we going to let this one blow us off our feet, blow us out of the water, blow our family apart, or are we going to find something that is unshakable? And so you and I have found, 32 years of marriage, 5 kids later, 2.5 grandchildren.
And the storms keep coming.
And the storms will keep coming. Yep. But the fact is that we know we can have confidence and feel secure, and that brings us peace. And there are so many people out there who have so much anxiety and depression, and it's because they've lost that foundation that is unshakable. Yeah. So please, if you are not a Christ follower, if you don't get this or believe this, I get it. We do a bad job sometimes of representing Christ well, but there is no other unshakable foundation and absolute truth than God's Word. And it is what we have found that brings peace and joy into homes and families.
Yeah. And it's not about being perfect. I think so often people get trapped into I'm not good enough, or I cuss, or I drink, or jump on the ship.
Welcome to our world.
Welcome to our world. Who cares? What we do care about is the integrity of your fabric, right? What you're tapped into, and how you're going to raise your kids. And so, I want to make an announcement here. So, our Strong Dads podcast, specifically in the Strong Dads podcast, Kyle Crawford, we are going out and we're just talking to dads. Yeah. Because one of the things that I've seen is dads have either been sort of shunned out of their role as a father in the home, or they become arrogant and fooled by their own reasoning that they think they can do it all without the foundation of Christ. So either way, the result is a disaster.
Kids suffering.
Yeah, kids suffering. So Strong Dads goes right after that. We have a lot of fun. We talk 2 men, 4 men, but we challenge men. And so we want you to listen to that. You can tune us up. Look for Strong Dads on Spotify, and you can get that, or you can go to our website, and we have a link on there for that.
Yeah. So we are passionate about families, healthy and strong families. And so we also believe it's mind, body, and spirit. So we do actually physical fitness classes 6 days a week. Merrill, you're a certified personal trainer, so you do personal training. So, if fall's rolling around the corner here, and if that's something that you want, I know, hon, cool weather. That means cool weather.
I know. Get your fat butt in the gym and let's start working it out. Let's do this.
But if you just are tuning in, we are talking, it is Labor Day weekend, but we are actually going to be talking about work and its role in the family. So let's talk a little bit about the background of Labor Day.
Oh, yeah, you're all going to think I'm like really brilliant now. But
you looked it up. You Googled it.
Isn't Google awesome? So, what's a little bit of history of Labor Day? So this is from the U.S. Department of Labor. And on September 2nd, 2019, the U.S. Department of Labor celebrates and honors the greatest worker in the world, and that's the American worker, which is just, we take that for granted, but so much of what we have in this country was based off of the work of men and women daily putting their fingers to the task. So we are now celebrating our 125th anniversary of Labor Day.
That's older
in
than
this
you and
country. That's a little bit older, yeah. And so what it actually means is it's always celebrated on the first Monday in September, and it is just dedicated to the achievements, both socially and economically, of what American workers have done. And when we look at why that's such a big deal, obviously you always have to have a benchmark to compare things to. You see what the United States, America, has done as a country in terms of prosperity and well-being. I mean, yeah, we have our problems, but even our poverty level is among the highest standard of living in the world.
Yeah, we are blessed in our country.
Yeah, and so there's so many great things that have come. Not perfect, right? Because it's made of humans, but incredible in what we've seen.
Actually, I just said something that I don't know if everybody would agree with, that we are blessed in this country, because we have known a lot of people who have gone to third world countries, worked in third world countries, and you and I have been on mission trips as well, and have seen people who have so much less than us be so much more content and happy and at peace.
Yeah.
And so I think the prosperity sometimes brings us to a place of thinking that we can do it on our own, thinking it's all about us, thinking that we deserve this. And so it definitely kind of clouds our thinking and our understanding of who God is, who we are. So I say we are blessed because we are blessed with a lot of prosperity, but some others would say that actually has been a curse.
Yeah.
And that it's created a lot of our problems we have in our country today. So I don't know, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, and so we're going to get into this. So we're talking about working, and Labor Day obviously was a good way to launch this conversation, but it really talks about the whole idea of what labor or work is, but we have to couple it with something else. And when we do that, we see some amazing things happen. And so this is a topic that we want to talk to moms and dads, parents, and the idea of what we teach our children. And so, Mom and Dad, don't turn this off. Right? We're not just going to be talking about doing work.
But even if you don't have kids, or even if you're married, this is an important topic for us to talk about.
Yes, and we want to challenge you to think a little bit about how what our presentation is on this today. So, a lot of us think of Labor Day as just another opportunity to have a day off, a long weekend. Closing out the summer. And you know what? If that's what your understanding of Labor Day is, then fine, enjoy your day, okay? But I do want to just challenge you in understanding the depth of what we have in this country that is so different. The United States was very rare when it came together with these two concepts. Came together with the concept of freedom, freedom of choice, right? Freedom of speech and just what we do with our time, and work, right? And combining those two together created a combination that had not been seen at the level that we see in this country. If I have freedom, but I do not work, right? If I have freedom, so I can do whatever I want, okay? I'm going to quickly lose my freedom because there are some basic necessities that have to be provided for.
Yeah. Hun, can we also add the word with work, responsibility? I feel like there's another level there, that is going to be talked about. And I think that when we say work, that we have a responsibility of doing something, whether it be making money or cleaning our house or whatever. So I like that word too, because sometimes work is kind of like discipline we talked about last week. It's sometimes a dirty word people don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and so we're gonna kind of move through that there's a freedom. All right, but then we couple it with work. And if I have work without freedom, some of us would call that like slavery.
Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, I don't have any freedom, but I have to go to work every day. And all of this effort that I put in is taken away from me. Yeah. It goes to benefiting somebody else. So excess freedom without responsibility of work leads us to problems. If we have work with no freedom, obviously that leads us to a problem. Yeah. So it's this combination that came together to create this great United States that we have. Yeah. The reason why we want to just kind of introduce this at this point is understanding how we teach this to our kids.
Right. And that there's a balance.
There's a balance, and the two have to be in conjunction with each other.
Yes.
Right?
And this starts really, really young. We were talking last week about Dr. Roseman's book, The Parenting by the Book, and in there he talks about grandma's rules.
Yeah.
And he talks about responsibility being one of those. Like, we're kind of losing that resourcefulness and responsibility of teaching our kids very young that you are in charge of your toys, your clothes, your room, your stuff. And if we don't start that early, then they're not going to know it when they have a boss at Burger King that tells them to clean the floor, and they don't want to clean the floor.
Yeah.
You know?
It's huge. So, when the balance gets out of whack or there's a misunderstanding, you start to see extreme things happen. And we see this on both sides. So, like if I have work, and things like I feel like I'm always doing it for the benefit of somebody else, that actually started the creation and growth of our labor unions, which at that time, rightfully so, okay, because the balance got out of whack, okay?
Yeah.
If we go to the other side of that and we see freedom, but no work, we saw the development of abuse in welfare systems. Abuse, I say.
Yeah.
Not that we're saying you shouldn't have some sort of safety net welfare system, but we see the abuse of it. And so trying to work that balance. And the only way that you actually work that balance is to understand what you just talked about a little bit ago, Hun, is that responsibility.
Yeah.
And so there's another part of this. So what is the balance? And the balance is this combination of I have to have freedom with work, all on a foundation of these principles of trust, integrity, honesty, respect.
Which I think we're also struggling with in the home.
Yeah, and there's a reason, and that's why this is such a family topic tonight.
Yeah.
That if the freedom and the work are what we're actually wanting, but if they're not under the underpinning, the foundation of these things that we're talking about, then the freedom and the work go awry.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where we get into the dangerous situation. There's abuse.
Right.
Abuse in welfare systems, abuse in labor.
Yes.
Right? And so we have to teach our kids. And so one of the things that we talk about is the golden rule. What in the world is the golden rule? Right? And when I worked at the elementary school, every kid at Bright Elementary knew the golden rule.
Yeah, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, doesn't mean we always followed it perfectly.
Yeah, but that's a goal.
But that is a goal. That is an underpinning of everything that we're going to work off of.
So, Hun, I see this even in a workplace. For instance, if you are a secretary at an office and you have all these office supplies at your fingertips to put in your pocket to take home, that you don't, because you have this underlying foundation of integrity and honesty that would be stealing, or your boss leaves early and trusts that you're going to lock up for her or him, and you kind of take some money out of the cash register and stick it in your pocket, or you leave early and lock up. It's that integrity thing. And so if you want that freedom, then you also have this responsibility. And so that's when you see a great worker. I love someone who is just self-motivated and honest and full of integrity. We tell our kids all the time at the house, integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching.
Right. Well, and it's gone so far in this culture that we don't have the trust.
Yeah.
That now we have to put cameras up everywhere.
Oh my gosh, which is so sad.
Yeah, and it's the only reason why the camera's there is because there's a lack of integrity.
Yep.
And when you think about again, that's making somebody a lot of money. There's
or the time clock, check in at 3:02 versus,
Right. And again, this is that human nature, not God's nature, but the human nature to cheat, to take the easy road, and to recognize that in yourself. Listen, you and I aren't perfect on this either, right? So we have natural desires that, what, today I'm kind of tired, or I want to cut this corner, or nobody's watching, right? And so that's a human condition that we have to understand. Oh, wait, that's not of God's will.
And it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So if you sleep in one day and get to work late another day, and, those are all things that create a pattern. And what are you modeling for your child? Is your child seeing you cut work early? Are they child seeing you take something home from work that doesn't belong to you? We are setting our kids up for success or failure based on how we model the value of work.
Yeah. So this is just something that we talk about from the very beginning. It's got to start in the house. Okay? Must start in our homes. The idea of responsibility for freedom and work. We talked about this in a recent show just about discipline, and when we get to the ages of 13 to 18, how we're actually having a leadership and mentoring transfer where we're allowing our kids more freedom right? They now get to go over a friend's house.
Right.
They now get to possibly get a driver's license.
Right.
And to say, oh, yeah, dude, you've got this car tonight.
Right.
This car is yours.
Right.
But with it
Right.
comes some responsibility.
And we have one in our house who's getting a job for the first time, and so he wants to take off to go, to be with his buddy. I'm like, no, you're scheduled to work. You have a responsibility there.
Mm-hmm.
So we are trying to teach him that you have to be a man of integrity, and when you get scheduled, that you honor that. You don't just not show up.
Yeah. And so, we've gotten into a little bit of this problem where people say, well, if you want me to do work, what are you going to give me for it? Okay,
yeah.
And that is a very dangerous condition to get into because
Extrinsic
it's looking for
motivation.
the extrinsic. And so working more instead of the intrinsic of work gives us dignity. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel accomplished. It's what God designs us to do. He
Absolutely.
said, hey, you've been kicked out of the garden, and now you're going to have to toil.
Yeah.
But because we toil and we work for the day, God likes that. He appreciates that we're working to be back in His graces.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's paid or unpaid, it's good for your health. It's good for your well-being. It makes you actually happy. It builds confidence and self-esteem besides getting rewarded financially. But that's why I think a lot of people who retire from their paid job will go find something to volunteer. I love going to the hospitals and seeing all these volunteers who are just pushing patients or greeting you at the desk or answering the phones. Like, they're doing this because they just want to contribute to society.
Yeah.
I went to the 9/11 memorial, a month or so ago with some friends, and it was the first time, and they had all these volunteers who literally just said, I want to do something. And they have these, badges to show they're volunteers, but they're showing you where to go and lining you up, but they're not getting paid for that.
Yeah.
They want to contribute to society and do work for the sake of our country. And I just thought that was
something
pretty
bigger
amazing.
than themselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not
huge.
to mention just the benefit of being physically busy.
Yeah.
Movement, exercise makes us feel better versus sitting and that kind of thing. So there's so many great things that come from it. And so we encourage work way more beyond payment. Whether I'm getting a physical paycheck and teaching our kids that early. There's sometimes when our kids do a chore around the house that we say, hey, I'll give you an extra buck or whatever. But there's sometimes we say, we're asking you to do this because our household needs that job done.
Yeah. And we can't wait for the government to make this declaration on how we approach work and freedom. It's got to start in our homes. If we have training our children to sit around and collect a paycheck out of the box when you can physically work, then we're teaching them a very bad thing that's going to really ripple out into generations to come.
Yeah, well, in 2 Thessalonians 3:10, it says, this is a tough one. Nobody likes to hear this, especially in this country, because we could be stepping on people's toes. But we just ask you, because this is what Rock Solid Families taps into, the idea that, in this verse, it says, for even when we were with you, we gave you this rule. The one who is unwilling to work shall not eat.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to be abusive and mean. If you're not able to work due to a disability of sort, then as a Christian, I have even more double down duty to help you.
To help you, yeah.
But if you are just choosing your freedom to not do and provide for you and your family, then we're not going to rescue you.
No.
And that looks hard.
Hun, when I was the director of our Life Center, we had a lot of clients come in who were trying to get on disability. So they needed help with food or rent, and they thought that the ultimate goal was going to be to get on disability. And man, I wanted to help them understand that was like quicksand. It's like sinking sand. It's not really a great success to be on disability, especially if you can work some, because it's going to pretty much just wipe you out and kind of get you stuck. It's a very ugly quicksand that it's not the answer for everybody. People think it's like the answer, the end all, and it's not the end all be all. People on disability will tell you you don't get rich or even make ends meet very well on disability.
Right, and it's I think we have to understand the and being mindful of how we handle or what freedom and work are. They're not guaranteed to us. right? They're not guaranteed. And when we abuse them, and then it just blows up, eventually it's going to get taken away. All right, whether you're going to lose your job because you abused your work and you got fired, or your freedom is taken away because even if you sit around and do nothing and say, I'm free to do whatever I want, but now you are a slave to the government and the welfare check. So you've lost your freedom. And so if we don't take care of it, we will lose it. And teaching your kids that, like, okay, listen, if you're not going to do your job, somebody's going to do it for you, but then you're going to owe them.
Even unemployment, they require you to go and put out so many applications per week. They want you to get back in the fight. You know, they want you to get back on the wagon. And so, you know, our kids for a while thought that the ATM was just like free money. Like, take this card. And
it's not? Wait a minute.
They didn't understand, like, you have to have something, like, you have to make money to put in the bank so you can get money out of the bank. So.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring that up, because if I don't teach my kid that, because they see it every day, you know, like just going and running that credit card or doing that, we can't blame them, right? That's just how it looks. It's some kind of magic trick. The money just gets spit right out. And so
I need to get that magic.
Yeah, that's part of why we're having this conversation today, Mom and Dad. This is not about just work. This is about that whole understanding of what work and freedom are, and teaching our kids that. So please, you know, stress that with your kids. Bring them up in that system. Like you said, you know, in our last show that we talked about, at the age of 3, your kids are old enough to actually start working, to be contributors to
Picking
the
up
home.
Their toys, clean the room. Speaking of which, we did a show a while back, and I can't remember when it was, but you can look this up on our website, about chores and allowance. We literally talked about working in the home as a child, and not slave labor, of course, but you know, we talked about how to process that with our kids and how to really get them to a place where then they can be productive members of society that do work and have responsibility and have freedom to make money and to be successful. So we want that for our kids, right? So let's work backwards from that.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap some things up here as we start to get to the end of the show. But, you know, one of the things that we've started to see here in the last 10 to 15 years, and probably people saw it long before that, but now it's come to a head, the greatest solution to poverty in this country and really around the world is not a welfare check.
No.
What we've actually found is the greatest, and there's research all over to point to this, the greatest solution to poverty is having 2 parents in the home teaching the concepts of what we just talked about. 2 parents in the home teaching freedom, work, the golden rule. When you have that throughout, the likelihood of poverty greatly diminishes.
Yeah, you talked about that statistic in Strong Dads. Now, if you're a single parent out there, we're not saying your children are set up for disaster. We're just saying that you have to be more conscious of what you're teaching as the single role model in the home. And so it's an uphill battle, definitely, and we want to surround you with support and help and encouragement to be the parent God's called you to be. So please don't take that as a death wish for your kids. But we are saying that 2 parents in the home, showing the child the value of work is where we get out of poverty.
Yeah, the value of work and integrity and all of the underpinnings there. Okay, so a little challenge. So this week, we're going to challenge you guys. I want you to think about what you have modeled and shown and taught in your own home in reference to how you approach work and freedom. And remember, work and freedom, not work, not freedom, but work and freedom, and its underpinning of the golden rule, right? So I want you to actually think about what do my kids think about that? You know, do they think of work as just slavery?
Do we even talk about it?
Or do they think of freedom as just doing whatever they want? And so have some conversation, have some thought about that, okay? And then, you know, again, we just want to challenge you guys always, teaching what the golden rule really is about. It's just, without it, it's where we get all of the lack of trust. You know, I always feel like somebody is out to get me. People are trying to shortcut me and everything else. So teaching the golden rule to our kids, and that we should expect it from others as well.
Yeah. Hey, before we get rolling, hon, I just want to thank our sponsors. You know, this has been a great show. So important for the fabric fabric of our homes and our families and our community. But we want to thank our sponsors for making Rock Solid Families possible, Rock Solid Radio possible. Thank you to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. Without you, we wouldn't be here. So please let them know that you appreciate their support. So have a great day and make it a great week. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Rock Solid Radio. For help or more information about what you've heard this evening, contact us at rocksolidfamilies.org or call us at 812-576-ROCK. That's 812-576-ROCK. Again, a huge thanks to our sponsors, Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. If you have questions you'd like answered on air, or you want to chime in on something you've heard this evening, go to our Facebook page, Rock Solid Families. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday evening at 7:30 for another episode of Rock Solid Radio. I'm Linda Hutchinson, and for my husband Merrill and I, thanks for tuning in to your hometown radio, Eagle Country 99.3.